Hello everybody and welcome to another video. I am bringing you Car Mechanic Simulator 2018 today. Now, I'm skipping over the tutorial. I recorded a whole video last night about the tutorial and how everything goes down, all the new tools, and even the first couple jobs. But unfortunately, I lost everything. I tried to experiment with some recording applications and conversions and figuring things out. Still kind of new at this stuff. And it just didn't go too well. I wasn't happy with the quality of it. So I'm skipping over the tutorial. I'm starting a new game, and this is going to be just the first job that you have access to. Right now we are moved into our brand new garage, a simple, small, corner of the block shop with one measly little lift that hopefully through some hard work and determination will be able to grow into a multi-lift empire, basically. There are a ton of new tools available to us, and we're going to go over those as the job progresses because it's going to let us cover some really important changes. One of the things or a couple of the things that aren't recognized in this first job is this tool right here, the spring puller. This is a cool new tool that's going to allow for the disassembly and reassembly of shock absorbers. In the previous game, you would just take the shock absorber cap off, and then you would take the absorber out, and then you just have this floating spring hanging in there. Not this time around. I'm assuming that you're going to take the cap off and then pull the shock spring and absorber assemblies out and then bring them over here to the puller and take that all apart. That's what I think anyway. Hopefully that we'll get to see that sooner rather than later, but at least for right now that's how I'm thinking that works. Our toolbox, they have a completely overhauled tech tree, which I'm super excited about, with all kinds of upgrades and new diagnostic tools that we'll get access to as we gain experience through jobs. We don't have the workbench just yet. We don't have the ability to repair anything. This is another new tool, the engine crane. And what this tool allows us to do is have an engine outside of the vehicle, and we can examine it up close and personal without having any restrictions from the engine bay, and we can spin it around and do all kinds of neat stuff. And I hope we get to see that sooner rather than later as well. And of course you have your computer, which they've changed the look of everything, and they've added some new shops like interior and license plates and all that fun stuff that we're going to get to work with. Right now we're going to go ahead and pull in our job, our very first job. And one thing you'll notice is that they've got these new timers right now. And what that does is gives you a time limit to bring these jobs in from the queue into your garage. So if you don't get them in time, they're going to disappear and you won't be able to use them. So you want to get jobs loaded in as quickly as possible, and it also puts an emphasis on getting jobs done more quickly, so you have the maximum amount of jobs possible. I'm stuck on the car again. We're going to go ahead and get the category Katsumoto in here too. We got two cars with simple brake problems. Not surprising. We're going to get these really simple basic jobs first. Let's go ahead and see what the status of this vehicle is more in depth. Now, what they've done in Car Mechanic Simulator 2018 is they've changed all the navigation to utilizing these menu pies. And what that does is just kind of it brings everything really together, I think. It's going to take some getting used to, but I've tried this a few times now, and I'm getting more and more comfortable with it. So if you go to car status, that would be similar to pulling up the work order in CMS 2015. And what this is telling us is that we need to replace 2 brake calipers and a ventilated brake disc. So let's go ahead and get oh, I did. Oh my goodness. We're going to pretend that didn't happen. And we're going to move on. So we've got a category Katsumoto. We're going to go ahead and move that over to the lift. I really can't believe I finished that job and didn't actually do anything. Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. But this has similar brake issues. We got a brake caliper, a ventilated disc, and brake pads. Let's not accidentally finish the order. And we'll go ahead and we're going to boot in a new one. So these also have brake issues. So very common brake problems. bounce in there. So now that we know what we got to replace, let's go ahead and get the car up on the lift. Kind of disappointed. The last 2 times I've done this with a new game, it's given me a really specific car to do, and it really lets you see how the new tire changer and wheel balancer work. But this time around, it just gave me general jobs to do, so it might take us a minute to get to the tire changer. So we see our brake caliper that's got to come off. Oop. Take out those brake pads there. Alright, so that's not it, and that disc is fine. While we're here, we might as well take this wheel off. So we need to parts unmount mode. Hold our left click and get these bolts out of lug nuts. That's one of the other changes they've made. By incorporating the menu pie, they've taken away hitting 1 for disassembly and 2 for assembly. Another interesting thing that they've done is they've implemented a shopping list. So instead of having to constantly remember the parts or write them down yourself or bounce back and forth between computer to car before you unlock the tablet to get your part names right, you can actually right click on the part you want to replace, and in our case it's going to be this shot brake caliper here, and we can go to parts notes and we can add it, and boom, that brake caliper is now on our shopping list, and we'll be able to pull that up on the computer then too. So we make sure we get our part names right and all that other good information. Let's go back into part unmount mode and get that brake caliper off. Swing around here to where our bolts are. And that's done. We can go around and we can figure out where our next problems lie. Those look good. Those look good, but they might be where our brake pad problem is. No, that's all good. And that's all good. So we're still looking for that disc and pads. This looks like it's going to be that one. Go ahead and examine these things. There's our disc. And oh, no, those pads are good. Well, it's got to be over here then. Yep, and those are the bad brake pads. So go ahead and get this tire off. Brake caliper. And we'll go ahead and utilize that notes feature, and we'll add that brake pads, those brake pads to the list, and remove them. Now we'll work our way around and get that brake disc off. Right now, it's going to be so much fun when we get the workbench back and we can start fixing things as opposed to just flat out replacing them. I also want to see if they still have the expert mode that removes the part names and the bolt outlines, because I really like that feature. It made things more fun because you actually had to find what you were looking for, you know, learn what it looks like, and then you also had to learn where those bolts and nuts were to get them off, and then put them back on. So we're going to add that brake disc. Ventilated brake disc. That's always important. You don't want to buy a brake disc when you wanted to buy a ventilated brake disc. Otherwise you just waste your money, because you'll never sell those parts back for what you spent on them. Now we can go to the computer. In order to buy our parts, we can pull out our shopping list here, just in case we forget, just so we're aware of what we need. Go to the shop, go to our brake section, and we need a brake caliper for one. Brake pads, we need 1 pair of brake pads and 1 ventilated brake disc. And that's done. Put our shopping list away and we can leave. And then we can go back, and I like to, for the starters, just get rid of all those parts because we don't need them anymore. And then we go back to parts mount and we start putting our parts back together. So there's our nice shiny new brake disc, our brake pads, and they've added some things. So now you don't just have the brake caliper to put on. You have the brake caliper and the brake caliper cylinder as well. So you'll probably start getting cars in that have, you know, maybe just the cylinder went bad. And that'll add one more layer of complexity that you'll have to diagnose and troubleshoot. Like, well, was it a caliper? Is it the cylinder alone? So that should be a lot of fun. Getting used to all that. What is exactly the... I'm curious as to what the status of that brake disc is. 58%? It looks worse than 58%, I'll tell you that. Oh, no, I didn't want to do that. Oh, mount mode, please. This brake pads back on. I'll go ahead and put the caliper on. Ratchet, ratchet, ratchet. And put our wheel back on. We'll move on to our final brake assembly. The brand new brake pads. Caliper and cylinder back together. Everything in this looks so much nicer right now. I just love what they did with the new engine. Despite any of the, high-end graphic issues that I experienced and people are experiencing, the game looks so nice, even on medium graphics, and so far I'm really pleased with it. So that is it for that game, or for that car, and it's a simple $290, and these next few cars that I get with the brake problems probably aren't going to be worth much, but it's a start, and I'm really excited. I love what they did with this car information screen. You have everything you could want and then some, with the power curve and the torque curve, diagnostic like horsepower information, and in these order summaries, what it used to be just like find and fix the running gear problems or air filter replacements, stuff like that. Now some of them even have stories to them, so they have a little bit of background information that can help you figure out maybe what's been going on with the car, and it could later on lead you to be like, oh, okay, so if they've been doing this with the car, I have a pretty good idea that this is what's wrong if it's an unknown part. But we're going to go ahead and finish that order, and that's pretty much going to finish it for this video in general, I think. I don't really want to make these videos too long. And plus, I'm still working out issues, and if I've spent this much time and I'm going to have another problem, I want to make sure I get it ironed out as quickly as possible. So I'm going to go ahead and load in another job, though, just to make sure that we are all set to go. And I don't know if I'm going to make videos doing these, since they're pretty much all the same, these simple brake problems. I don't know if I'll make a video again until I get something new. But if you like what you've seen, go ahead and leave me a comment. If you disliked something, let me also know in the comments. You can click on whatever, the up buttons, the down buttons if you want, or you can click that subscribe button and follow along as we continue our journey to the top of Car Mechanic Simulator 2018 and just see all the cool new stuff that they've added and what this game has to offer. But until next time, thank you for watching.